Hey guys, I know I've just done 2 very long videos, but, I'm kind of like one of those people where I think of so many things throughout the day that I want to talk about, and then when it comes to time to talk about it, I've forgotten. So I've kind of taken it upon myself, now that my phone actually records a little bit longer, to do some videos to, let you guys know exactly what I'm thinking when I'm thinking it when it happens, when it's brought to mind. My hair's a mess. I don't really care. There we go. That's about a little better. It's a little too fuzzy looking the other way. I'm sitting here actually watching that show, What Would You Do, with John Quinones. And I love that show. I think it's so cool. It kind of tells you really, what people are like inside. And with the background of being obese, there was, I'm getting a little teary-eyed. I try not to cry on here, but sometimes it happens. The only time I think I've cried was when I broke up with my ex, and it was on here, and then I deleted it. But, to be honest with you, I mean, I'm sitting here watching this show, and it's about this big lady who they tested to have her sitting on this bench, a park bench outside of, just on a boardwalk by a beach, and she was probably about the same size she's probably about the same size I was when I started, about 250, maybe even a little bit less. And these skinny girls walk up and they're like calling her fatty and like saying all this stuff and horrible names that they're calling her, and people like bystanders are passing by and they're wanting to see, what would you do like if you saw something like that. And it kind of sucked because watching it felt so real. Like, this is when I may cry. But when you've been overweight for like so long and people judge you and they call you names that hurt so bad because, one, you already know. It's not like you've never looked in the mirror and realized that you're overweight. But then hear someone calling you names that are very deeply hurting, it's like, ouch. And then the fact, like, it's almost frustrating that they would put this poor lady in this position. I mean, I'm sure she volunteered, but you could tell that she was actually getting choked up by the words they were saying, and it was almost like a bashing. And, I'm sure it's not the producer's fault, but it was to test a theory out, and she probably volunteered again, like I said. But, at the end, some older lady who wasn't big walked over and said, "Honey, don't you let them bother you at all." She said, "You're beautiful." And she, like, grabbed her microphone and she started to cry, like, real tears. And she was like, "They just said I'm beautiful." I know all too well, and we all know too well, just what that feels like to have mean things said about you, or to hear something, like, in the distance that people think that you don't hear. And like I was talking about one of my videos where I walked past this little boy, and kids are totally uncensored. Like, kids will say exactly what they think and they're truthful about it, which is what hurts, I think, the most. And this little boy was like, "Mommy, she's fat." And she was like, "Shh," trying to hush her kid, but he's like, "But she is, look." And I literally was looking down the aisle trying to see if there was someone else, because I was like, please let there be somebody else down here that's big, because I can't handle that. I just can't. And I literally tried to hold back tears the entire time in that grocery store. And the other thing was that I was in a grocery store, and I'm looking in my basket of crap and junk food and bad food, and I'm like putting stuff back on the shelf because I don't want to be looked at bad. And I actually left the store, not even purchasing anything, because I was so hurt, and I didn't say anything to anybody in my family. I just kind of went home, and I maybe even drove and parked somewhere and cried, and then fixed myself up, and then went back home, because I was one of those, secret criers where I didn't want people to know about what I was thinking or feeling or worry about me or anything like that. But that like totally hit home. And honestly, if I saw something like that, I would 100% stop those people from saying that. And I would absolutely 100% sit down and discuss with that person, regardless if they were, after I found out that they were just an actor, I would have still been like, I had gastric bypass, and there is light at the end of the tunnel. You know, this life doesn't have to be like this, and, you know, if you can't do it that way, let's work on it somewhere else, or whatever, if you want to. If you don't, if you're beautiful the way you are, you know, it's like crazy how mean people can be. But anyways, I just wanted to touch on, you know, looking back, it's like this hits home, just like watching Sarah on the oh my gosh, why can't I not remember the name of that show? The Real Skinny. I almost started crying when she was crying. Well, actually, I did start crying when she was crying, because it was just so real. Like, gosh, I know the feeling. Anyhow, to all you guys out there who are struggling with your weight, or, you know, are in the process and you want this really bad, this will happen for you at some point. You will be able to lose the weight with gastric, lap band, whatever, regular weight loss, whatever it is. Just remember that the people around you do not define who you are. You define who you are. And you have to always think of it like that, because I wish I had, but I didn't. And it affected me so bad that people could say one mean thing about me, and it like crushes me. It just crushes me. Anyways, I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon, I'm sure. Okay, bye.